All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to the 75th episode of The Get Down. My name is Cream.
Gary W here.
We got our boy
Angelo
The Kid. What up, Ange? What up?
Yeah,
I meant to actually have a conversation with you before we did the intro to be like, just don't say anything and I'll just give you a quick intro.
I always listen to like the other podcasts too and like see if they usually say something or or you guys say something. It's pretty funny.
I woke up this morning and thought of that and I totally forgot to do it. And I knew that was going to happen as I started this.
Ange is like a regular guest though. Like every 20 episodes he's on. So he should know by now.
Yeah.
Maybe the next time I'll figure it out.
So we're gonna get things rolling. I mean, first off, 75 episodes, pretty awesome that we've gotten this far.
Yeah.
We've always talked about like all these milestone episodes. We're going to do something big at some point. When we hit 100, we actually have to do something big.
Well, it's something that I've been thinking about for a long while. So, we'll get there. But I like that the 75th episode is going to be about Miami Music Week. I spent a lot of time with Angelo last week, which was great. Like not in a DJ booth. So that was good. And I think I was at my 5th or 6th Miami Music Week. I just started when I was 19. 2003 was my first Ultra. It was one day. PVD, Paul Oakenfold, Tiesto headlined. Saw Junkie XL play right before them. Sasha and Digweed played main stage as well. Who else I see? Donald Glaude, and then a bunch of artists that you guys probably wouldn't even know. And then my next one after that was like 05 or 06. The first one I went as more like a patron. I had been DJing in nightlife already for about a year and a half, maybe 2 years. So I was just kind of like taking in what the festival culture looked like. Festivals were relatively new back then. Then I think in 04, I went to Bonnaroo and that was kind of in its infancy. And then festivals kind of took off from there. 05, 06 was more serious into DJing and then really tried to like network a little bit with people down there, but like nothing crazy. Was still down there kind of to party. Went down there in 09 and consumed a completely different WMC and got into like tech house at the time. And like went to different parties. It wasn't like trance parties and things like that and did it that way. And then when we went down as Get Down DJ group, went down and took it in as like a DJ booking person, however you want to call it, right? And it was different. We had all our guys down there and that was a lot of fun. And then this time around was even a new spin on it for me where I hung out with Angelo, who it was his first time, and Mikey Ferrari, and kind of saw the week as from an artist's perspective. I know Angelo had a completely different experience than I did last week, even though we did hang out a lot. He had access to more backstage and VIP areas and hit a couple parties that I did not. So I'll let Angelo kind of touch on his first brush with Miami Music Week, what he thought about it, and kind of just what his experiences were.
Yeah, this it was awesome. It was a really good time. It's something I needed to do and just kind of see what was all about. And from this past week, I'm going to do this every year, go down there for Miami Music Week. I mean, thinking about it as an artist, and for me, it was really cool to link with all these guys. Because throughout the last year, 2 years with TikTok, I was supporting all their music on TikTok, all these, it wasn't like the top tier guys. It was the guys that were getting signed by Revealed, Spinning, but they were, they're still coming up in the game. They were just like noticing me. They're like, yo, what's up? Like they loved everything about me, because of TikTok and stuff. But it was really cool to link with all those guys. And, the one thing I wish I did have this year was have music to give to everyone. Cause, that's what it seemed like it was most importantly about. And, Ferrari, he was always telling me like, yo, make sure you guys have stuff to give to these guys, just randomly give it to them. Cause all these artists are like right in front of you. I think Joyfire, one of Ferrari's students, he had like one of the wristbands for.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was awesome. So
Ferrari said it was kind of old school, like that they had done that in years past, but you know, it was just really easy. If you gave it to somebody, they could just slap it on. There was a USB that you just slapped on your wrist. It plugged into it itself, and then
exactly.
it was rubber, so it was really accessible. It was a smart
Yeah.
move by him.
It ended up working out too, because Nico and Sway, he gave it to Nico and Sway, and then I guess like whatever, they posted about it that night, like, yo, shout out to the person who gave it to us. Yesterday they posted it again. There you go. Yo, shout out to Joy Fire Music for giving it to us. Like, we love it. And you know, we're gonna support it on a radio show this week. So thank you for giving us the music. So like, it's cool to see those moments. And you know, it's almost like, okay, I saw how it is this year. I know what I'm gonna learn from this year and bring it into next year. Hopefully have some new music. And yeah, it was awesome. It was a really good time.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of funny to me. Maybe me and Ferrari should have kind of like coached you up a little bit before, and like what to bring and what to be ready for. I haven't, like I said, been in a position where I had produced a track or produced anything, and then went down there and like was like looking to push myself from an artist's perspective. You know, I was always going down as a DJ and just trying to network with people from different DJs from different markets, as opposed to trying to like, you know, meet. Sorry, I got my dog over here. I apologize. Trying to meet different record execs, etc. So
yeah.
So yeah, we probably could have did a better job of coaching you up a little bit, but you got to just take notes, and next year you go in it, you know, full steam ahead, and you know exactly what you're dealing with and kind of what to do.
Definitely.
You don't really know either. Like you can hear any of us talk about it, but until you actually experience it and you see the people that are in front of you and the opportunities that you have, and then like we've been saying, like next year you're more ready to go. But I think it is cool that you kind of get to meet a lot of the artists that you make these connections with on TikTok or Instagram or wherever. And then you actually get to see them in person and like hang out. And it's like, you guys are long lost friends kind of thing. And you've never actually met before, but you've just talked a bunch of times through email or sending tracks or whatever the case may be. Were you able to get a chance to hang out with Goloski?
I don't think he was down there.
I thought he was. I thought I saw a video of him there.
You know, if he was, like, shame on me, because that's one of the guys I should be hitting up. He was like the first guy to support any of my edits, and I was like, what the hell? Like, this is so sick.
Yeah.
So damn, I should have hit him up. But it's cool. Like, Miami Music Week is like, it seems like the one time a year, like everyone gets together. You know what I mean? Like that, because like everyone's either touring or, you know, in the studio, just busy all year. And then this one week, everyone just comes together. So it was really cool to see that.
I mean, how many times did we see Tiesto just walking up and down Collins Avenue? Like, it was just kind of like a strange experience. Like, you're just walking around, you're seeing all of these DJs. We ran into Tex Flex right on the corner, right where we were. You know, a guy that we had on Get Down Radio that we've only talked to via DM and email, and there he was, just like hanging out on the corner. And we like ran over and said what's up to him. And kind of like met him in person for the first time. So like, it's those experiences that you go back for, you know, year after year.
Yeah. I didn't go this year. You know, I wasn't sure it was going to happen. I talked to the DMP guys and they were like, yeah, well, we're not throwing the party. And once they told me they weren't throwing their party, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to skip out on this year. As all you guys were down there and sending me videos and, you know, calling me, I was pretty jealous. But yeah, man, we could definitely make the most of it next year. I know we've talked about doing a get down thing down there. So we'll see. You never know what can happen, but I think
this year sorry, just real quick. This year was really interesting because a curfew got put in on Monday night, 2 days before everything started, on South Beach. So anybody that had anything planned for after midnight for Music Week had to then either push their party earlier or move it across the water to either Wynwood or downtown. And it created a lot of issues for people. So I was kind of happy that we didn't have something lined up for this year and then have to worry about getting it all moved and then trying to enjoy the week, and then also like doubling up your workload because you have to get the party moved. I know that Brian Lubliner kind of dealt with that. Angelo, you played his party.
Yep.
Played a great set, a different set that I had ever heard you play. It was more the style of what the party was. So I was kind of proud that you really bent in that direction, and it just fit the room that you were playing as well. I had a lot of fun listening to you that night. But like they pulled it off, and it was really impressive, and it was a real big pain in the ass for a lot of parties that they needed to move, especially the smaller parties, because they're not huge production companies that we're talking about, and there's not a million people running this thing. It's like 2 people or 3 people running a party, and now you got to move everything. So I was impressed by people pulling it off, and I just feel like it's year after year going down there. It's like, okay, it got canceled. Remember about the Get Down meetup? We're at the Get Down meetup, and Ultra gets canceled, and DMP party gets canceled, and everything got canceled. That was in 2020, and then 2021 it doesn't come back, and then this year rolls around, and Monday night they instill a curfew because there's a shooting on South Beach, or multiple shootings on South Beach, and it was just like, I feel like Miami Music Week's getting punched in the face over and over and over again. But hopefully next year it comes back, bigger and better. But it was amazing to see so many DJs in one area once again, and to consume really good music.
Gary, what was your favorite set from last week?
Oh man, I think my Borger was my favorite set. I think it was like hands down my favorite because he DJ'd.
Yeah.
And selfishly, I enjoy a DJ set and not so much an artist set because, yeah, it's fine to, I get it. You're highlighting your own music and everything. You want to play all your own music. That's fine. But he went up there and he played like 2 tracks. And I feel like you could just see it. Like the whole set changed.
Yeah.
And he was just playing like banger after banger. And people were just having such a good time. And Mikey came over and he's like, is this really him playing? Because this doesn't sound like anything that he would play.
Yeah.
And it got a little poppy, but it was interesting. I said this to Kareem yesterday. It got interesting to see how many DJs played more pop forward sets. So like, not meaning a straight pop song, but like tracks with little pieces of pop music in it.
Yeah.
Because I think that was garnering the most reaction. That Friday pool party was the best party I went to by far. The music was by far the best I saw. Yeah. Now you went to the revealed party and you saw Nico and Sway play, and I heard that they were amazing. And the video that I saw come out of that party looked really good. The 4B party is going to be the 4B party, right? That you went to.
Yeah.
And then the Wednesday pool party, the music was good. I mean, there wasn't nothing to write home about.
It wasn't like my favorite, the Wednesday pool party. I just feel like everything was like very commercial Wednesday, or it would also like, it just like change it. People just change up the vibe out of nowhere. They're playing artist sets, which makes sense.
Right.
But compared to Friday, the mix match party, like I felt like there was like a whole vibe, like carried the whole day, like
Definitely.
seven when he
incredible.
It's so good. Like his music that he makes, like he makes bangers, like everything's like just heavy drops, all that stuff. But like he played a very like progressive tech house set, like melodic. It was so cool. And he was like on earlier.
I was loving that because it just fit it. Like it fit the time of day. It fit that it was a pool party. It was this melodic, really nice, just it even keeled set that just really, I don't think the crowd knew how to consume it at first.
Yeah.
It took him about 2 songs, and then he got it too, like where he was like, all right, well, I got to get a little harder, but he stayed in that kind of melodic proggy genre. So it was really good. And then it just built really nice. Whoever programmed the DJs did a really nice job that day. Just a really fun party.
It was so much fun. I
was happy to, I know you and Mikey got the VIP treatment. I was happy to pay that $100.
Yeah.
Like at first I was like, oh, if this is anything like Wednesday's party, like that kind of stinks because it was 75, and then after fees and everything, it was $100 to get in, and then drinks were between like $20 and $25 each.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, this is going to be a big day, but the music just kind of, well, I mean, Nico and Sway came by, and then Riggy and Piros hung out, and then Seven was out hanging out. So it was cool to hang out with a lot of the artists that we saw DJ
Yeah.
that week. So it was well worth it. Well worth it.
Well, me and you were just like hanging out in the crowd at one point. We were just like, we were vibing by the end of it, like for audience set, like we were just hanging out the whole time.
Audience was great too.
So good.
Love audience production. So that was pretty, I knew that was going to be pretty seamless. Play a lot of audience at 626. It's just the vibe that his music lends. Kind of poppy, but like really, really great energy. We were just rail right, just hanging rail right the whole time. It was fun.
What you guys are talking about right now is just a lot of the artists that you've just named. I don't think either one of you would ever actually pay to go see individually. But this is why the Music Week is so cool, because, or even just going to like festivals is so cool, is because you end up hearing all these different artists that you wouldn't normally hear. And you get surprised a lot of times, or you hear someone actually DJ or go away from what they normally do. And like, that's why going to see DJs or an artist play is so important. It helps with your creativity. It helps give you an idea of like, what are some of these people actually playing? And it just motivates us, you know? And I think that's why another reason why Music Week is so great is because not only are you interacting with other DJs and meeting some of the artists and networking, but you're actually listening to these sets, which we never get to do because we're always working ourselves. So it's great hearing you guys talk about it. It makes me really jealous that I wasn't there to kind of take in some of these sets, because from years past, I do just remember how great it is to hear everybody play and do their thing. So
yeah, that was really refreshing to go out and see DJs and get to hear them on like the way you're supposed to hear them. Because a lot of times we can go out and see a DJ locally and maybe the sound's not the way it should be. And they get caught playing a set that maybe they don't want to play. It was just nice to see like a stage set up and have like a proper sound system and hear a DJ the way you're supposed to, number one. And number two, to your point, Kareem, in years past, I went to like bigger artists' parties, right? To where they're going to play their set and they leave. They're not hanging out. You know, it's like I'm going to go see Tiesto at a venue, or I'm going to go see Calderon at a venue, or Oscar G somewhere else. And this year I feel like I went to kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to call it a step down because I don't want to knock any of the guys that I saw, but you know, it's not like that headliner festival stage. You know what I mean? And the artists then become more accessible, and it makes more sense for the people that are looking to get their music out, because you can get it in the hands of those guys that aren't at that super top tier. But if those mid-level guys start playing your stuff, then obviously that stuff can get passed up. Your music can get passed up and passed up. So I think that was a big learning lesson for me this week, was that hit the smaller events. You don't always have to go. Cause I know like Joyfire was like, I'm going to see Tiesto at wherever he was playing. And it was like, all right, well, it's cool. Ferrari actually said it to him. It's cool if you want to just go see him, but don't think like you're going to be like, you know, rubbing shoulders with anybody or like giving your music out to anybody. Cause that's just not happening at that. That's just an event. That's just a concert that you're going to.
All these guys are coming in with the same mind state though. Like, even if they're levels up from where some of our guys are and they're touring or whatever the case may be, they still want to network and meet people so that they can get to their next level. So because maybe they know Mikey or they know Angelo or they know you and they come over and say, what's up? Who knows who else is hanging out with you? Like you said, you were hanging out with other artists, Ricky and Piros. Like, it's a great opportunity. You never know who you're going to meet. Like, you never know who the heck is standing next to you. And that's what's also really cool about it. It could be the head of a label, like the head of Ultra used to hang out with us at our table, like with me and the DMP guys. And like, nobody knew who he was, but he held the power to give a lot of people opportunity. And like, you just never really know who you're going to be standing next to. And then the other thing, I think with social media and with all this online networking, I think people are just more into interacting with fans. And especially in something like this, where everyone's really there for the music. Like, Andrew, I just think of like when we went to hang out with Martin Horger, he was just like hanging out. Like, he was out with the crowd, taking pictures. Like, a lot of these artists now want to be interacting with their fans and like, they're cool with just hanging out, you know, which I think is awesome.
Yeah. The being in the social media age, it definitely makes like the A&Rs and the higher ups a little more accessible. And then this way, when you do show up to these things, you know who people are because you can just simply look them up on socials and you're following them already, most likely. And you probably have sent them a demo or two. So like, it's definitely beneficial and way more accessible than it has been in years past.
All right, Garrett, what do you want to hit right now? I know we have a bunch of different topics. We can go a couple different ways. I'm gonna let you take the lead.
I think piggybacking on Miami Music Week, always coming out of whatever you called it back in the day, it was WMC, and then it turned into Miami Music Week. Always coming out of it, new music has broken, right? We talk about a lot how music doesn't really break anymore. Like it comes out on a label, and it's not like this hard to find thing for like a month. Because back in the day, you'd come out of Miami Music Week and you'd have all these like notes and you'd be scrambling looking for tracks. And then when you find them, you'd play them out. Is that still a thing? Number one. And number two, are we going to get like a new sounds coming out of Miami Music Week going into festival season? Or is it going to be a little more high energy? Is it going to be harder? Are we going to have the same old R&B vocal tech house shit happening as well? So like I have all these questions coming out of this week, wondering how that week still affect the way music is played for the rest of the year and going into festival season. And like I said, like does music break there anymore? Like what do you think?
I think like I mean, there hasn't been a festival in 2 years. So I feel like now people are just starting to think that way. Like, how can I change the music a little bit? How can I, do something different as far as artists? And I think a lot of people are trying to bring back some kind of big room, whatever it is, whether it's some new format. Obviously Hardwell did his whole set, and a lot of people weren't happy about it, but he played a lot of techno big room. But I think a lot of artists are definitely trying to bring back that bigger sound. I mean, when I was at the reveal party, that's what it seemed like from there. At Mix Mash, it was a lot more bigger sounds too. But yeah, I think everyone's trying to bring that back. And the R&B vocal, I heard a couple new ones this week. But I just think that's going to get old, as pretty much how music is.
I think it's quickly getting old. You just in talking to people last week, particularly DJ / artists, just like at any time something like that came on, it was like an eye roll. It's like, here we go again.
Yeah.
Which was an interesting take, but like anything else that gets huge like that, like the Acres do it too, because that's what started this. We talked about that a couple episodes ago. Like anything else, like everybody needs to copy it and it gets old quickly. So this is probably a good opportunity for house music to take a little turn and for producers to come out with something a little more fresh.
With festival season and with Music Week especially, it kind of like kicks it off, right? So I think all these artists are always creating music to then play and test for the first time, really at Ultra or at Music Week.
Right.
And then that carries through into releases in the spring and summer for the other big festivals that happen throughout the summer. But we're going to see a ton of new music. I don't know if the sound's going to change or if it's bigger. Obviously, people are going to be making things more so for the festival. So it always seems to get bigger in the summer. But I think having Ultra this year and having Music Week, we should see a lot of new music from, all the artists that you would expect to see it from.
And then we should probably see a decent amount of new artists coming out, right? With the amount of people with the amount of music that was exchanged hands last week, we have to see some new guys get tracks signed and maybe some new faces pop up on the scene over the summer. I don't remember. Well, no, we didn't really have a festival season last year. I was going to say, did Acres like kind of do like a summer thing, or is That just got
I feel like it
signed
was-
and just was huge.
I feel like he was like, he built the hype up so much right beforehand, and it was getting supported by, I think, live streams, like when the quarantine was going on.
Right.
And then like in the summer when it was like all these artists were just like playing shows, it was being supported everywhere, I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. But yeah,
like
I mean,
built the
that's-
hype before the release. It was crazy.
Something that I think looking towards next year too with Music Week, you know, we had some of our guys down there, but I think next year we really need to like push getting more, if not like as many of our guys as possible, because how many of our crew, how many of the Get Down guys are actually producing music right now?
a ton.
A lot.
Yeah.
And just within the last 2 weeks, Dario dropped a heater. Dario Valley dropped a heater on Spotify that I loved. And Sean Magda dropped a heater as well. That was really, really good. 2 tracks that definitely, well, two artists that should have been down there passing their music out as much as possible, coming off of 2 hot tracks.
Solano just had a remix release. And Jaeger just put out his Stronger Kanye remix, which I think is real dope.
It was really good. It would have been nice to see those guys down there really like pushing their product, you know. But next year for sure, I think they'll gain momentum. Our guys are going to gain more momentum. They're going to get better. Our guys are in our office after DJ sets at 3 a.m., 4 a.m., working on music till 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And I'm sitting there like just listening to these tracks being made. And it's just like something's going to hit at some point. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time.
Mikey Ferrari's definitely helped with a lot of this. Obviously, he's with his academy, but with the mind state of our DJs too, where it's like, yeah, we could all be DJing and making money here, but you know, in order to get out of our market and really start traveling and being treated as an artist and making bigger money, you have to be making music. And like, that's how you get found. And that's how you get, you know, these offers to go play all these other markets. And there's only so many open format DJs that travel, right? There's a handful of them or, you know, a couple handfuls of guys who are traveling and not producing music. And honestly, like the Beat Breakers and the Rick Wonders, and those guys are making their own music also. So it's like, you really can't grow and you can't get to the highest level unless you are producing. And our guys really do realize that. And if you're listening right now and you're producing and DJing a little bit, like if you have to choose one way to go all in on, if you want to be traveling and big and playing festivals, you have to produce. You have to produce.
It's something that Ferrari and I spoke about a decent amount, and he really is finding a balance between, well, he's got a couple different balances to take care of. It's his DJ life, his production academy, and then him as a producer. So then, you know, throwing in that production academy, it becomes a little more difficult because your time really gets stretched, right? So you have to kind of be careful if you're going to produce and you really want to be serious about it and, you know, try to go play Miami Music Week next year or play Ultra next year. You have to put a lot of energy and focus into the production side of your brand, right? It's, yes, we all do need to make money, but you can become a little choosier, a little pickier about which DJ sets you take. And if you want to be serious, then that's what you need to do. Maybe you need to cut back. Maybe it's not 4 nights a week. Maybe it's 2 nights a week. You spend those other 2 nights in the lab getting stuff done. So you have to really be careful about where your time gets pulled.
It's hard to do, right? Because you want to be as big as you can be in your market, but your market could only take you so far, right? And setting that time aside every day, because you really need to be spending time every day opening up Ableton and working on your music if you want to put out a lot of records and make good records, because it's going to take a while of making shitty records to start making good ones. So it's just like anything else. You have to make it a priority. You have to set the time blocks and just do it. And Angela, you could speak to this because I think you're realizing from, you know, just being in our market all the time and playing here that the way that you're going to really grow and really go big is through your music. So talk a little bit about what you're doing and where your mind is at when it comes to that.
Yeah. So for putting out music right now, I mean, I've only been producing for almost about a year now, like original music, but you know, it's all a game. So right now I'm thinking about, I'm not really focusing on originals because I need people to start thinking about my name as a producer, and as a, you know, an artist. So I want to get, you know, as many remixes out this year. I'm going to try and push out at least one remix a month. Because honestly, this past week, everyone looked at me as like the TikTok kid, you know, like no one really saw me as an artist, and that's like a goal I want to change for next year. Um, Also, when it comes to DJ bookings, I think too, it's right now I'm doing a lot of, you know, I'm taking a lot of sets, but I'm trying to do at least once a month an artist supporting set. So last month I did James Hype. This month coming up, I have Valentino Khan. I think those are very important because you can kind of you can play what Angelo the Kid would play, you know, as an artist, and I think that's very important. And say Valentino Khan is, you know, in the room when you're playing, you can test out your new tracks like when he's in the room, and like maybe he's like, yo, what the hell was this, you know, when you get off. um so I think that's my whole goal right now, is just to kind of just, you know, go all in on remixes and pump those out as much as I can, and then by next year go into originals.
It's nice to hear you come out of last week with kind of a set plan in how to change people's minds and what their perspective is on you, because that is one of the hardest things to do. Once you kind of get labeled, you have to work out of whatever that label might be. So if it's, oh, the TikTok kid, like, oh, it's kind of, not to say it's not taken seriously, but to some bigger artists, maybe they're like, oh, he's just a TikTok DJ, like whatever.
Yeah.
It's really difficult then to shed that label and then become serious about, you know, production and remixing and then DJing on in bigger stages. So I'm glad that you realize that. You're smart enough to see that, and you've come out pretty quickly here, because it's only Tuesday, right? It's only Tuesday, and we left there on Friday, and you already have a plan to kind of move forward with the year and change people's minds by next March.
Yeah,
So
I
good for
think.
you with that.
Thanks. I just think I just noticed like consistency is the biggest thing, you know. You have to just keep putting out songs and songs and songs consistently. That's how I think if you want to grow, you know, if you're not going to make the single hit record, I mean, at least maybe one of them might be like that one hit. But honestly, if you consistently put out music, it's gonna work in your favor.
Think about it from even, you know, people starting out and making edits, right? Even just trying to get your edits known or get your edits onto record pools, you have to be consistent with it. And you're like, I always talk about, like, send an email every week with a new edit, and eventually someone's going to put it up on the record pool, right?
Mhm.
It's the same thing. Like, your edits, you start to get known for your edits, and then you start to make remixes, and that's kind of the next step in the progression, right? So then you're putting out a remix every month, and people start to download your remixes because they know you from your edits. And then you start to progress into originals where, all right, I've been playing your remixes now. You've practiced creating original music, and now you're putting out originals that are playable and remixable and editable. And that, I think that's just the natural progression to success as a producer, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough to just jump in as you know, doing your own original music and like, oh, cream, and then whatever the song is, it's like, well, I don't know who Cream is, so I'm not downloading that. But if I see, you know, Kanye West Stronger Cream remix, all right, I'll check that out because I know the original track, right? So
For
you're
sure.
right. You're right in that. It's an easier path to success.
For sure. And I see a lot of these guys now, you know, their remixes are coming on Spotify. So, you know, maybe I'll look into that in the next year as well. Because like, if that would be amazing, it can get on all streaming services. So yeah, that's like the plan right now. We'll see what happens. I already got one remix I literally made last week and like, you know, finish it up by this week. So during Miami Music Week, I got home and literally started making it. And then you know, I was like, all right, got that one done, time to the next one, you know.
It's gonna be fire too. I heard the beginning of it.
Yeah, can't wait.
No, it's definitely sounding legit.
Thank you.
So let's now transition here from Miami back home. And I know it's hard to do, but you come back, right? And do you feel differently, like as you've now been played a weekend at home after being in Miami? Because I remember when I would come home or come back from another market, I was always re-energized in playing my sets at home and felt like I was ready to just like dominate my sets. Did you feel similarly?
Yeah, I mean, Saturday I got home, I did a triple.
Yeah,
I did.
you're a sicko.
I got home probably around like 2:30. I had Harbor brunch at 5 to 8, lobby 9:30 to 11, and then the DL 12 to close. I think that Harbor set was like the most house music I've ever played there, but like everyone loved it, you know? So it was I definitely was just like, I was definitely energetic, but I was like, let me test out some new house tracks and stuff. So definitely played an Angelo The Kid set there, which is really cool. And the other two gigs, I played my usually just an open format set. It was definitely a good, I needed that. I honestly, I was energetic. I was ready to go that Saturday. I needed it too.
Always that first set back, you will play more your own style. And it's like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry, guys, like I got to get this out of my system kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, it sounds like that's what you did. You got out of your system, then you play your regular sets, the next two sets. I think it's crazy that you flew in, you played New York and then to Jersey and then back to New York.
Yeah.
That's how that went.
Yep.
That is sick. That's crazy.
And then I was off on Sunday. Thank God.
I was shocked that you answered our text messages Sunday afternoon.
I was honestly by the DL, by the last gig, I was just like, all right, I've had enough. I'm tapping out, but it was like 2:30.
It is fun to definitely come back though and break new records into your set, because it's and just kind of see how they go. And you have a little bit more confidence because you've consumed so much. You played a couple parties, so you kind of have this vast knowledge of all different types of styles because you hear so many different DJs and whatnot and so many different styles of music. So you have all of this kind of churning in your brain, and you get to release it out, at a party. And it's just kind of a nice, refreshing set, your first set back for sure. So, man, fun times.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think we're like coming out of our winter slump here at home and like we're going to start seeing more packed rooms and more energy? I feel like we've been seeing it already with like March Madness and some warmer weather here.
Yeah. How was the weekend? Because
it was good.
It was good. Yeah.
It was good everywhere I played. Yeah. I had like a pure hip hop weekend. I played like legit, just straight like hip hop Spanish sets all weekend.
I was really mad I had to leave lobby, honestly, because it looked insane. Like it looked crazy.
Lobby was a lot of fun, man. It was a lot of fun. And I talked to Mark. I played lobby. It was me, Angelo, and Wavy. Angelo dipped out a little early, but Wavy and I went hour for hour for the rest of the night. And I said to Mark and and Wavy afterwards, I appreciate you guys putting me on here because it takes me out of my normal comfort zone where that's a different animal of a room than places that I generally play, but I can do it. Like I like the challenge, and I have the versatility to be able to rock that room. And like, it was dope, man. Wavy crushed, so much energy in there. It was really just a great time. We had a really good back and forth. So it was a success.
Cream, you have to have a lot of confidence going into a big room like that and then playing a set that you're not like intimately familiar with, right? I think that's a big part of being successful in those spots is just being confident in what you do, right?
Yeah.
If you falter a little bit and you kind of second guess yourself, you can really put yourself down a bad rabbit hole while you're DJing. I've been there. That's why. So for you to walk into lobby and do that in front of that many people, I saw some video off of Wavy's reels or his story yesterday, and it was just like, it was a packed room. that's not the most dimly lit place in the world either, is it?
They like rotate through the way that it's lit in there. But yeah, I mean, they have the giant LED screen that lights up the whole room.
Yeah.
So
The reason I say that sometimes, like if you're in an unfamiliar place and it's a dark place, you can kind of like get away. You kind of have this false sense of confidence. But like if it's lit up like that, like because that's how it was in the video I saw. I feel like it's like you really have to be, you have to believe in your set and believe in what you're playing.
yeah, I've played lobby enough now, you know, a hand 3, 4, 5, 6 times that I know what gets the reaction in the room. So while I haven't really played the main set in the big room there, I know what's going to work, you know? So it's just having the confidence of going in there. And like the biggest challenge was just kind of working off of Wavy and playing music that he hasn't played, you know? So it's like, he hit a lot of the big records from 12 to 1. So when I jumped on, I'm like, all right, well, let me think about all the stuff that he hasn't hit and let's try to fill in the gaps. And that's kind of how we did it. I played more of like an opening R&B opener set. He came on, played a main set. I played a main set, and then he played more of a closing R&B finishing set. But it was dope. The flow of the night was dope. It was a good time, man. And while I haven't done that in a while, I used to do that all the time. So it was really just like thinking back to the days of really headlining in New York and playing those sets to like, all right, well, what worked then and what works now kind of thing. Wavy played a lot of the newer stuff. So I didn't have like, that's not my lane anymore. You know, like I know the newer records, but I just don't have rooms where I can get away with playing them. So the fact that he could knock out a lot of the newer records that I might not necessarily know as well or play, it allowed me to go, you know, I played Mark's like, yo, play a throwback set. So I played a little mini throwback set. I played a little reggae, a little Spanish, like it just worked.
Now, did you discuss that with Wavy? Like, hey, like I know the new stuff, but I don't have like the experience.
Wavy and I played together a bunch now. So like we know how we play and we just kind of go off each other's energy.
Okay.
We play well together. Like we just flow well together. It works.
Those hour-to-hour sets are like the best. I think they're so much fun. Like, especially when you know you're working with someone. Like I played with you hour to hour. I played with Greg. I got to play with Gary hour to hour. I think that'd be interesting. But those are some of the best sets, I think.
Yeah. Big shout to Wavy, man. He's a dope DJ. He crushed it. He's another young guy that can really carry any room at this point. So shout to Wavy, shout to Mark.
All right. That's a good place to wrap, boys. Episode 75.
Man, Angelo, thanks for jumping on.
Thank you for having me.
You have become kind of like, let's get Ange on the show.
Every once in a while.
Angelo, what's your socials in case the people that are listening don't already follow you?
At Angelo The Kid on everything. You can get me on SoundCloud, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. This weekend I'll be at Writing on the Wall and Harris Day Brunch, the day party. And yeah, I got a big month coming up ahead. I'm gonna be posting my monthly schedule soon and can't wait for it. So
nice. Kareem, where are you at this week?
I actually have a pretty light week. I have Tally Ho Thursday and then Ashford Friday, and I'm actually off the rest of the weekend. So a rare Saturday night off. I
got to come play Tally Thursday.
It's fun.
I had such a fun time last time I played Tally Ho. Such a fun time. So I definitely want to come through and play a set on Thursday.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Gosh, I'm flying in 2 days. So I'll be at 626 for Latin night Thursday, just like my usual. 626 Friday night after Drag Race, which I still think is happening. Where am I at Saturday night? Ashford Saturday night, and then Birch in Hoboken for brunch on Sunday afternoon. And then we were supposed to do a disco party at 626 in the evening on Sunday, but I don't know if that's happening. So we'll keep you posted on the socials.
All right, boys. Thank you guys for listening to this episode, number 75. My name's Kareem.
Gary W.
Angelo The Kid.
Wow, there you go, Ange. Peace out.
Peace, guys.
I'll see you.